So, Endwalker is the end of the journey when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV, right? Well, I'm at the very beginning, and I'm here to share with you my very honest, very first impressions. Now, the way I see me doing this is by actually making a direct comparison between Endwalker and Shadowbringers in order for me to help you, from which point of view I'm coming. Otherwise, it would be me just telling you, hey, you know what, I've just did up to the Tower of Zod and that's pretty much it. No, you need to have a valid comparison if you're going to be sincere and honest about what you're trying to address, in this case being, Endwalker. So, I will start by addressing the elephant in the room, the MSQ, then we will move towards the music, and lastly we're going to address the gameplay. Starting with the MSQ, I will take things directly and say that, in my opinion, Endwalker falls behind in comparison to Shadowbringers, and I mean, let's be honest, how could it not? You're literally yoinked towards another fucking world, when it comes to Shadowbringers. Like, you're just fucking going, literally. You spawn in this new area, after the trailer starts playing, the sky, even the sky is alien to you. You have no idea where to go, you have no idea what's happening. You know that you were just fucking summoned by this mysterious figure who you don't even know to begin with. You know that all your friends are gone. I'm not gonna tell you all the Shadowbringer story, guys, but it is way more epic than I got on a boat and I go to ancient Athens. Because, okay, I'm gonna be honest, I'm Greek, okay? It's surely, and it's ancient Athens, okay? Athens? I can do this, I believe. So, immediately I think that Shadowbringers hits it off like, wow! It has a big impact. Especially if you're to compare Shadowbringers to Stormblood, in my opinion. But we're not doing that, I digress, let's get back into the topic at hand. The music kicks in, everything that starts onto your journey is, in my opinion, in favor of Shadowbringers. Endwalker, however, gives this vibe that it's going to set you up for something longer. I was told by my community that Endwalker apparently has way more cinematic time than Shadowbringers did. They went big dick when it comes to cinematics, that's what I'm trying to say. And I'm starting to feel it, like I think that, in my opinion, Endwalker has a very slow start, but it's constantly building up. Like, at no point do you feel, like, now what? I believe that in the older expansions like Stormblood, which is my favorite expansion in FF14, you get this feeling like, now what? Now, where do we go? Endwalker is methodical, progressive, one thing at a fucking time. I think it's time for us to address things they have in common and things they have different. Now, what do they have in common? The twins. The twins. Let us address this, okay? The twins. We're going to start with Alphinaud, since you can access Alphinaud directly, in Old Charlian, and also in Colusia. I'm going to be comparing these two, and then I will move to compare the Keck trio, how I call the fucking, Thavnair's story, in comparison to, Alisaie and Tasleen. So, starting with Alphinaud and Alphinaud, I very much enjoyed the whole concept of espionage we got in Yulmore. You go there, somehow something doesn't feel quite right, does it? Like, you're over there, everything is going to shit, and then this guy, I don't even remember his name, Volty, he has all his shit in his vault, I'm gonna call him Volty, okay? This guy somehow has a paradise, but everybody's dying around it, so like, what's going on over here, So you can embark on this fucking mission of espionage to go over there, get in there, infiltrate, but, with a smiley face and a good old spy style, So you get these vibes from Shadowbringers, and then you move to Old Charlian, where you are met with absolute question marks. That's what you get question marks, like, what's happening over here? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna get them over to our side? Because when you were with Alphinaud, you knew fuck all back in Shadowbringers. Now you are trying well, you still know fuck all, but you're trying desperately to get them to you. And that's how it starts. Like, from going around, people just giving you a fucking tour of the city, and then you go and, now you meet the prick, but let's talk about the prick. I'll talk about the prick later. Prick is, Fortuné, also known as Alphinaud's father, and Alisaie's, of course. Thing is, you start, then you move towards the library, you start learning about the city, then you go to Labyrinthos, that's a Greek word, labyrinth, okay? Where you start learning more, and then you finally get Trial. Now, that trial made me lose my shit. I molded out. Also, I don't remember the name of that grandpa. You know, apparently Louisoix's friend. I like that grandpa. I was mean towards him because I thought he was against me while I was on stream, but it turns out he was actually in favor of me, so hearts out to grandpa, you know? Other than that, I also very much love Amelie Nice. Am I saying this correctly? You know, the mommy, okay? Like, she's adorable. I honestly don't know what she found in her husband, but I am getting into gossip and that's not my goal. What I'm trying to say is that even though the story of Endwalker was very, very engaging and it had its peak moments, the overall vibe I would give in favor of Shadowbringers because of this whole mystery of the unknown. It was more epic, it had a more sudden, a jump start. Where I believe the big difference happens is between the Keck trio, yes, Thavnair, okay, some good old tomfoolery, you know, and Alizé. And why do I say that? Teslin is, honestly guys, I love dragons. Okay, you will see what it has to do with this thing, okay? I love dragons. I love Persian architecture. I love Hindu architecture. I love the fact that you get to explore all these civilizations from ground up. But it's not going to compete to what happened to the fucking Teslin. Even though, if we're to exclude this particular moment, like say that we remove the Teslin moment and we just include everything else, I believe the tomfoolery between Urianger, Thancred, and of course the one and only Estinian, who almost got us broke, you know? I would have to go with Endwalker, with that Keck trio being more fun. Then you have this elephant, Matzia, like honestly I fucking love the guy. And then you have the lady, what was the name of my elephant? Nidana. I love Nidana. I love the moment that they're all just fucking lying down on the ground and you're like, oh my god, they're fucking dead. And then someone is there, oh, I got the scales, and everyone, whoop, back to life. I laughed my ass about that moment. But again, if we're to complete all of it, and we take into consideration that the Thavnair questline ends with the satrap. You know, you learn about the kid that's not actually a kid and that's a fucking dragon. Now, I love dragons. However, when it came to the climax that you get with Teslin trying to save the boy, you get two direct parallels of two children, where one of them is cursed. There is no hope. The light is going to devour it, to destroy, to turn him. Can you imagine what terrible fate awaits him? This constant fear of anguish, this constant pain. And on the other hand, you have the child that willingly took the blessing, took the eye, and became one with it. This is what I'm speculating that happened, by the way. And how those two children are at the beginning of the story. And then, no matter what you do with the satrap and what mystery you find out, the moment that the kid becomes the reason of Teslin's death in Shadowbringers, and you get to see this gruesome, I don't even know if I have footage of it, you know, but you get to see this gruesome transformation. Teslin, this pure, lovely lady, getting malformed, turning inside out, turning fucking white and shit, you know. It was so hideous, so shocking to the eye. And you were like, no, like I was taken aback. I was caught by surprise. I didn't see that coming, and I suspect neither did most of you, really. And you were, oh my god, how do we, what's happening, you know? So no matter how good the Thavnair quest chain was, I don't think it could compete with that one moment. Like, I exclude that one moment, Thavnair wins, but if I have to include that moment just for the emotional shock that I got, I would give it to Alice's quest chain in Shadowbringers. Now, that said, let's get into the main dish, the main course of the main course, which is the elephant in the room, which is the MSQ, the two dungeons. Okay, we're going to compare the Tower of Zod to the whole Minster. Yes, I'm not going to edit that. So, the Tower of Zod, they had kidnapped my elephant. I was invested, she hurted nobody, you know? She was adorable, she was cute, she was wholesome, she was only trying to get people better, to get them well, you know, to help the world. That's what she wanted, man. And they got her, you know? They kidnapped her and they fucking milked her like the Elagans milked, you know, the Mericidian dragons in order to create Bahamut, and then you guys know the story, alright? I'm not gonna tell you the whole cause of Bahamut, we're gonna be here for fucking ages. Even though this happened, And even though I wore a fucking Darth Vader suit on the stream because of the rage and anger I had towards Falafel, which we find out is Amon, who is in Asahi's body, yeah, you know? The fact that I got to kill Tesleen in Holzmister's Switch, the fact that she thanked me after her death, the fact that the last boss is a Greek word, it's philia, it means friendship in Greek on Shadowbringers, it got me so bad. I got so emotional when I was infused with the power of the Lightbringer. I knew it. I knew it within me that this is gonna be corruptive magic, isn't it? Shit's gonna happen, you know? Because you can just, like, okay, this is a lovely bottle, you know, you can put just X amount of water in it before it just fucking bursts, you know? And this is what I was expecting to happen. So, I was hooked. I am hooked in Endwalker, but as I said before, it is methodical. It becomes constantly better. Whereas in Shadowbringers, you had spikes, like, it was very good, impressive. It was very good, impressive. You got moments like these that we just fucking kept getting you. And this is why, in my eyes, I believe that Shadowbringers had a more interesting start. Now, I'm not saying that Endwalker is not phenomenal. As a matter of fact, on the contrary, up to this point, I stand by my thesis that FF14 is by far, the best MMORPG I've ever played in my life. I've been playing MMOs ever since 2002. To say that Final Fantasy XIV is the best MMO that I've played in all factors, by all factors accounted, is not an understatement. Now, that said, I have to be objective, and I have to be... Actually, it's not objective, it's subjective. I have to confess. And my confession is that Shadowbringers had me grabbed by the balls. Endwalker has me grabbed by the shoulders. He's slowly massaging me, preparing me for what is to come. And that's where I will stop with the MSQ, and I will jump straight into the music comparison. I'm gonna give this to the Shadowbringers. I don't think, Jesus Christ, is Endwalker even gonna nail one? I have to give this to the Shadowbringers. The trailer, okay, other than A Song of Hope, blah 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 blah, I'm not going to sing it, I am tone deaf, I guess, I don't know. Shadowbringers trailer, more epic. Shadowbringers music, I'm a heavy metal fan, what do you want from me, you know? The moment you step into this new world, more immersive, tomorrow after tomorrow in the fucking Crystarium night theme, come on. Just, okay, I get that you get the meaning of that song later down the line when you actually finish with the 5.0 MSQ, but still, tomorrow after tomorrow, dude, you know, Amarang, you know, all these types of musics, I just couldn't, like, it didn't do it for me, like, Thavner didn't do it for me when it came to music. Old Charlie Ann didn't do it that much. Like, if I'm to compare the Crystarium to Old Charlie Ann, I would have to go with the Crystarium personally and subjectively, and that's where we're left when it comes to music, but not sound. I don't know what they did. Maybe it's something that we should include into the gameplay later, but the sounds, they feel a bit more extra. It's probably because your abilities get upgraded and you get some extra shit, you know? But, for example, Paladin, I know that he doesn't have his confetti at level 70, but at level 80 you have your confetti, and then you just do big dickus, you know, you see, and shit. Yeah, Pepega moment right there. So, I wanna say that music I would give to the Shadowbringers, unquestionably, without even second thought, you know, but Endwalker would have to get the sound. The final piece of this pie, that is, you know, the honest first impression, is gonna be, as I promised you guys, the gameplay. And this is going to be a very short comparison, and the reason why is very simple. When I did Shadowbringers, I did it as a Reaper who was not tuned for Shadowbringers content, and my Paladin and my Dark Knight were already at level 80, so I didn't get to see the progression from level 70 to 80. Thus, what I'm trying to say is that my Shadowbringers gameplay, because I did it with 2 jobs of level 80 already, and one that was literally not meant to exist for that expansion, is mixed, okay? When it comes to Endwalker, however, I already begin my Paladin at level 80, and I started 81, 82, and I got to see, I even got my Holy Sheltron, okay? I cannot give you guys a very big comparison, especially for the first 2 levels, because as I said, I already had a lot of my buttons back in Shadowbringers, whereas I just got 1 ability in Endwalker. So just trying to extensively compare the 2, you know, gameplays as first impression, it would be immensely hypocritical of me, so I'm not going to give a point to either of these expansions. That said, I'm going to give you my final verdict. My first impressions. If I'm going to remove the comparison entirely and say that Endwalker is my very first attempt into a world and how it hooks me, okay, we're not going to compare it, we're going to address it as a unique part of this game. It's phenomenal again. Why is it phenomenal? Because it grips you. It makes you want to do more. A game succeeds, whether it's an MMO or an open world, as long as it's an RPG, it succeeds if you want to learn more about the world, if you want to roleplay into this world. I very much love Eorzean. It has grown on me. Like, I am a World of Warcraft veteran. I've been playing WoW for 14 years. I no longer feel this emotional connection to Azeroth because the writing fucked it in the ass. But when it comes to Endwalker, you can see, you can feel the love of the writers, of the developer team for the game itself. I am very much fascinated by how smooth the progression happens, whether it's in music, you know, in the battle themes, for example, even in the Endwalker battle theme, in the dungeon that I did, the Tower of Zod, it starts slow and relaxing, and then after like, I want to say 10 to 15 seconds, schmack. That's it. And you're like, oh, you can actually see my stupid face, you know, reacting to that probably on the screen. Like if you scroll back, go back, anyway, you know. Endwalker is a very good expansion up to this point because it has a very good beginning. It would be unfair of me to expect the same thing of its beginning when it comes to its end. Heck, even if we go back to Shadowbringers and you compare the ending of them itself with everything else, maybe just lean. I gotcha. I want my like and my subscribe. Anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was more of a confession. I just sat here in front of my camera, just literally just fucking said everything that came to mind as honestly as it possibly can. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for making it to the end of the video, and if you want to be part of my journey or just catch me live, I will have my Twitch profile on the description below. I will have other videos in the description below. Check out my profile, hit that sub, hit that like, or maybe, you know what, maybe you don't like my comparison, hit that dislike, and tell me your confession, tell me your approach, tell me how you felt down in the comments. I want to read. I actually do read every single comment that you guys write, okay? So I'm very much curious about your guys' confessions. I want to read them, I want to get to know about them, and I want to compare and see, you know, maybe my perspective could be further reaching, you know? After all, I'm just a person, and what I say is not a fact, just a perspective. Thank you for watching.